exciting today. Didn't post any good videos in a while because I didn't really have time to video anything. So this will probably be my last video for trucking on this channel. I really don't have the technology to make a decent quality video. I don't really have the things to edit properly, so some of my trips are multiple days long and no one wants to sit down and watch like a 36-hour video of someone driving down the road. So anyway, this one's a nice short run. Hopefully it will be anyway. Had some weather last night coming down from Ogden. Camped out here in Divert last night. I had to do a trailer switch anyhow, so. But yeah. So here we go. Wind's still blowing pretty good. It's blowing really hard last night. The truck was rocking back and forth all night. Minus 15 right now. Wind chill with minus 25. This winter seems to be a little more bitter than the one last few years. Almost like an old school winter this year. The roads are a little better than they were last night. Last night when I came through here, they weren't even plowed. It was just beat out enough from the cars and trucks or whatever. And it's all drifted in. It's starting to drift a little bit now. It ain't bad. Highways are probably better than that. At least I hope so anyway, or else it'll be a slower commute. I'm just shunting an empty trailer from the Burt to Derby. I'm only going to pick up a couple sea cans. Well, pick up the first sea can and deliver it to the port, and then get back into the second one. Yeah, seeing a couple of trucks off the highway there, probably about 15 minutes west of here, on the 104. They were about 5 or 10 minutes apart, I guess. One seemed like it happened quite a while prior to me showing up, and then another one, I was literally coming over the peak, and the puff of snow was just clearing. He actually just went off. The truck ahead of me stopped, and there's no other place for me to safely pull over without obstructing traffic or causing a safety hazard, so it didn't seem that serious anyway, just a jackknife, and there's no like substantial damage done to the truck or anything. I'm not saying that there may not be minor injuries, bumps and bruises, scratches or whatnot, but it didn't look that serious, and I'm sure the other driver, you know, could handle it well or make any phone calls to emergencies or towing services, you know, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It sucked to be that driver for sure, but sometimes as much as you'd like to stop, you can't, you know, in order. so it's get choked up or whatever, just bear with me. That time of year, jumping in and out of the truck. Nice warm truck. You jump out like -20 to mess around with trailers or whatnot for 5-10 minutes and jump back in. You know, you're bound to get some kind of sickness. Especially you go around someone carrying a germ, right? These roads don't look too bad, but you can feel like underneath from the wind blowing across the road all night and stuff. It's very easy to create ice, and this road is basically slippery as all hell. In this particular spot right here, not so much. It's even more treacherous if you're hauling an empty trailer. You don't have as much weight, because when you load up your tires, yeah, here we go, another one of these early, meaningless conversations. When you load up your trailer, your tires seem to spread out a little bit, and it's almost gives like a water stance on your tire, and it kind of like pushes it down, if that makes sense. And it gives you a lot more traction. It's great when the roads aren't so great, but it can also, like, there's pros and cons of both running in bad weather with an empty trailer and running in bad weather with a loaded trailer. Like if you're loaded super heavy and you're going up like a steep hill and it's not plowed and it's kind of slushy, and you know, from other cars driving over, you might have laid some salt down and then it come in cold and started to snow. All that salt that's in under that first layer of snow is going to start melting away, and it creates a bunch of slush, and that, you know, as you know, you're going to start spinning, and with all that weight on, chances are you're going to spin it on the hill. As if you had an empty, you're probably going to spin, but you may get to the top, even though all that weight gives you more traction, push the snow out of the way. But if there's a layer of ice down the bottom, then you're pretty much screwed. Is if there was a layer of ice on the bottom and you're somewhat light, you might be able to go, like, you might be able to make your way to the top. You just won't have all that weight tugging back on you. If that makes sense. I usually don't start making sense till about probably like 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's only like 4:15, so you had to make an earlier start than usual than what I've been used to. I used to start this early every morning, but lately, just the way I've been running, like the hours I've been operating, it wasn't not something I'm really used to now the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder why I ever chose to do this for a living. And other times I be like, yeah, I love this job, I'd never do anything else. But lately it's more the, why the hell did I ever choose to do this? But there's good and bad in every job, no matter what job you do. Like, it's good to be doing anything. It's good and bad in it all. It all depends on how you look at it and how you deal with your problems, I guess. Yeah, trucking is stressful at times, but so is everything else, really. You know, a lot of people don't understand. It's like, well, geez, your job is so easy. You just sit there and drive, like, you know. Days like this, we're not even like this. This isn't like everything's good now, but say during a big winter storm, high winds and this and that, it's your job to mind the other cars, like the other, like truckers call them four-wheelers, like motorists, to mind them, plus other commercial vehicles. You gotta keep your eye open to see if someone spins out. you can avoid the wreck. And then if you can, safely pull over to the side of the road and check to make sure if they're okay. You know, perform CPR if you have to or whatnot. Thankfully, I didn't have to do anything like that yet, since I've been driving the last, I don't know, made my license for almost 7 years. But yeah, the highway's good. But just things like that, right? Or you might have to deal with city traffic. Unfortunately, I didn't have any nice, good city driving videos, but mostly here lately, all I've been doing is going to Halifax anyway, and that's not a very big city. Nothing really, you know, just common driving skills. I don't post videos up to boast about what I'm doing, because what I'm, like, what I'm doing right now is particularly easy. You know, it's mostly all highway, and we go to the city, like go to Halifax and that. Sometimes it might be a difficult back or something to get into a place, you know, that you're not quite familiar with something like that, but that's all part of driving. You know, all part of driving tractor trailer, I should say. Should have had this video going last night. It was crazy last night. There was like whirlwinds of snow going across the highway, like truck rocking back and forth, slowing right down to like 50 kilometers an hour at times, 4 ways going. And the roads were completely snow covered. You couldn't see nothing. Like, at least this morning, like the lane here is beat out. You can drive right along. But anywho, nothing too exciting. A lot of people probably think, oh, that's boring, just driving on the highway this morning, right? I think, yeah. What else am I going to do? Anyway, stay in for an extra hour? Might have been a good idea. Now, once I get this assignment done, I walk up to a container and start making my way over to Halifax. Drop that off at the HAL term, they call it, the PSA Halifax there. And then there's already 2 that are loaded, waiting, reefers running, waiting to be delivered. Still a little gusty out though. I mean, last night there was like gusts up to like 100 kilometers an hour, especially up on the Cobble Pass there, like up past the tolls there, 104, heading towards Amherst Way, like New Brunswick border. Oh man, it was wild. Moncton was snow covered. Then from about, I'd say about 20 minutes east of Moncton, it started to clear off. And then once I got close to the Cobble tolls there, it started to be all snow covered again. And then basically from there down, they weren't really calling for much snow. Like I don't really think we got a lot of extra snow. It's just more so all the snow blowing around as it's accumulating on the road, right? It's starting to drift over and then just get spread out as the vehicles drive over. We never had a lot of extra accumulation, you know. Like most of this snow came yesterday and the day before. But when the wind picks up, all the snow plowed up on the edges of the highway, it's amazing what it can do, right? Just completely cover the road. And this bare pavement, this can be deceiving too. Because with all that wind blowing, it's not so bad now, but you get like a strong cold wind blowing across it. And from a bunch of traffic driving on it, the ice starts to, if it's not extremely cold, the ice can start to melt a little bit just from friction from your tires. And then all that wind blowing across that can create like basically a skating rink. And it may look like it's bare and dry, but of course it's not. I'm sure everyone knows about black ice, but you always say if you're driving on dry pavement, but it sounds like you're driving on wet pavement, like it has that wet sound, then you're on black ice. Or if you're on something that looks wet, but it's but it sounds dry, you don't hear that water spray coming from your tires, then you're on black ice. And always keep note too, if it's right around 1 or 2 degrees Celsius, it's starting to warm up a little bit, and you get like maybe even 3 degrees Celsius, and it starts to rain. Always remember there's still frost in the pavement, especially if you're having say it's -10 one night, the weather we have here in Nova Scotia and whatnot, -10 one night, +3 the next morning, and snow. Well, guess what? There's still frost in that pavement, and once the once that rainwater hits the top of that pavement, well, chances are it's going to freeze, especially if there's no salt down, right? Salt's good up to -7 Celsius, which lately it's been staying a lot colder than that. And always keep note of if there's cars traveling ahead of you, watch the spray on their tires. If it's right around the freezer mark, you notice that there's less and less spray coming from their tires, but the road looks like it's really wet. Start slacking back, the chances are it's starting to freeze. You're probably driving on black ice. There's something that's forming into black ice. We got a little bit of whiting condition here, that ain't nothing. It's a lot worse than this last night. You just got to keep in mind too, especially when you're empty and it starts getting white out like that. You always got to slack her back a little bit, because there might be a drift in the road. It ain't so bad here because it's plowed, but if you hit a drift and you got an empty trailer, you get more of a chance of jackknifing. Because you ain't got that extra weight to kind of push you through the drift, and if it'll fetch you up, and then that trailer's still on pretty good ground, right? And that'll come around because the inertia wants to push you ahead, even though there's not a lot of weight. It'll send that trailer right around in a circle 9 times out of 10 if you're going too fast. I'm not like somebody that's been driving for 50 years. I'm only 32. I only had my license for 7 years. I got a little over 3 years with tractor trailer, so I'm not on here trying to tell people what to do or how to drive. Just kind of sharing a little bit of what I know and experiences I've had. I don't know it all. I've still got a lot to learn. And I always ask questions if something like a new job, do something new with trucking that I'm doing. If I know that somebody else that done it before, I would rather ask them than screw something up. So if you're ever into trucking, never be afraid to ask somebody that may know a lot more than you. Be able to pass down some good information to you. So I'm sure I make myself look like a moron more than once. But I guess everyone has at some point. Yeah, she's snowing pretty good now. But I'm glad the wind slacked up a bit. I don't know how windy it is down in Dartmouth, Halifax area, but we don't want to get it it's so windy that they close down the bridge, because you got to take a long way around. That's just a pain in the backside. That other side doesn't look like it's a bare spot at all. Definitely likes to rock the truck, especially when you're empty. The trailer back there is just like a sail, That's why most of those trucks that you see, not all, but most, that you see that are blown over in wind, they either have a empty trailer, a lot, not all. The trailer may be empty, or they have a really high light load. For example, like say cardboard stacked to the roof, or something like that. or an empty trailer. High winds, your best bet is to either pull over or you can get or try to get yourself a load that's low centered, like like pallets of fish or something, frozen bait, something heavy. Keep your center of gravity down. If that makes sense. Don't even know if we use the right terminology. This amount of wind here this isn't much. It's not making anything treacherous or anything. A few minor gusts don't hurt nothing. But when it's calm for wind gusts, you can see the trees moving and everything. Best bet. Yeah, these new trucks, lots of technology or whatever, power steering, of course. Had that for years, but a gust of wind, it's always best to keep both hands on the wheel. When you can at all times. I should say when you can, keep both hands on the wheel. This gust of wind can send you, and this lane here is nice and bare and clear. You get over into some of that other snow there on the side. It's cold enough now, I know it's slushy at all, but if it's a little bit slushy over there on either side, especially if you're empty, and you get hauled into that, it'll drag you right over and then you're gone, right? So always keep both hands on the wheel, because if it's wind gusts, like a gust of wind is like, a big shot of strong wind at high speed that comes suddenly, right? And that can send you off course pretty easy. You've got like a big truck, empty trailer or whatnot, you're 75 feet long, 72 feet, 75 feet long. Some are even longer than that, like B trains or whatnot. And so it's always in your best interest to drive as safely as possible for the weather conditions. Even in daytime, it's always best to keep your headlights on, especially in conditions like this, because blinding snow squalls can make it hard to see through someone else's backside of the car, right? So you've got your headlights on, then your taillights come on, right? But with your running lights on, like daytime runners, your taillights aren't on. And if it's say like a black car or a gray car or a white car, for example, it's even harder to see, more so than like a brighter car, like a bright colored car, especially the gray, silver, and weather conditions that can blend right in with the pavement, right? Or white can blend in with snow, and the black looks like pavement. It just makes for a more difficult, more treacherous. More treacherous commute. This guy don't give a damn about nothing. He's on a roll. See how all that from his tires? Look at that. See, he's not that far ahead of me. He's already starting to disappear. See that? So when you start to get start to notice that they're disappearing, start slacking off a little bit. Just talking too much now. He's up for long though, because no one doing no good, but that's how what we're dealing with. It makes us see a little better. The camera's really not doing it justice. It's going to get difficult to see. The roads aren't bad, just fish and water. this out if I can. I'll just delete it like I did the last one. Made a few videos actually, but ended up deleting them because I just couldn't edit them. And no one's going to sit down and watch like a 3 or 4 hour long video. I recorded my trip to Sarnia, Ontario, and if I would have saved the video, I had no way to edit the video. Because for some reason my phone doesn't allow me to edit the video, and there was a lot of good footage, you know. I had a lot of winter driving footage, probably gave some useful information, you know, about winter driving in general. Most people already know anyway, but sometimes, you know, just hurt to pass it along. And also some footage of chaining down equipment that I wasn't familiar with. I'm not running flatbed right now. It was like a one-time thing, I think, just for like a tester. Because I used to haul equipment, heavy equipment. And was familiar with chaining down heavy equipment, as a lot of you might know. And I had to haul some strange stuff that I've never hauled before. And come to think of it, it's like, yeah, well, heavy equipment has all these tie-down points on them. Well, 9 times out of 10, the stuff you're going to haul on a flatbed is not. It's not always going to be like something simple like staging or, you know, some lumber or whatnot. Something that's like common sense. You know, a lot of it. You got to figure out certain ways to tie down certain things. And keep in mind, if it's like something like I had, it was a chassis. It was a pop trailer chassis that was built to haul those dumpsters. So there's a lot of sharp edges, a lot of equipment in underneath the trailer, like airlines and airbags and brake cans and whatnot, stuff that can be broken if you run chains in under there and start tightening, you know. You didn't want to scratch paint and all that. Like, it was a little bit of brain work went into it, I guess, instead of just hooking up to a trailer and go. I just got a reefer on right now, just an empty reefer trailer, which is a refrigerated unit. Reefer is just short for a refrigerated trailer, if that makes sense. Yeah. Well, we're getting there anyway. Here. Got an empty trailer, so probably don't want to go any faster than that. Some might feel comfortable just pinning her down. Well, the trucks are going for 105 mostly around here anyway. I always like to leave myself a little bit of room, right? Either way, if I have to speed up or slow down. If that makes sense. Just for my own peace of mind, right? When the weather's bad, nice clear day, weather's good, well, cruise 105, right? There's some gusts for you. Going across those bridges and stuff, right, all open up. Oh yeah, she's still blowing good. Hopefully the bridge is open. I don't know if it closed down yesterday or not, but I guess it all depends on which direction the wind's coming from, too. The way the wind's blowing up here, it might be alright, because it might be blowing in the same direction that the bridge is facing, if that makes sense. If there's a strong side wind, they'll probably shut it down. Sometimes it gets shut down to high side vehicles only, and whatnot. Cars can still drive on up. Shut down the tractor trailer. know why. There's something dumped in the reservoir other than windshield washer. So for a few days I was going, I was like, I gotta get a light. I was like, I was pushing on the reservoir or whatever, squeezing it. I was like, that don't feel right, and I couldn't see nothing. Then as I got a light shine down into it, I found like a dark liquid. And as much as I hate to say it, it looked like dark pop or coffee. So, I was on a run down to Digby, pick up fish, and it was a really awful day. Like, it was right around the freezing point. It was snowing, ice pellets, and the roads were full of sand and salt, and just making a mess. So I needed my windshield washer, and then I went to go for it, nothing. It was still frozen. So I poured some in it, still nothing. So I figured, okay, either the motor's gone, because I can't really hear it going. Either the motor's gone for the sprayer or whatever, or something froze up in the lawns. So I decided to top it all off. I topped it off with a windshield washer. I only put about half a jug and it was full. And then a few hours later, I started getting these little trickles. So I don't know if it just melted it out once I dumped in the additional windshield washer or what. And so far, so good. And I don't know why anybody would dump coffee or pop, you know, in a windshield washer reservoir anyhow, especially in the wintertime. Like, why? Of course it's going to freeze. You know? Yeah, you can substitute sometimes if you're in a pinch with water in the summertime or springtime or whatever. Basically, if it's not below freezing, it's, you know, if it's below freezing, I definitely would not recommend that. Yeah, I understand sometimes you have to do what you have to do and to be able to see, but at least as soon as you can, stop and get some windshield washer. So whatever's remaining in the reservoir that's not suitable at freezing temperatures, it's going to freeze and foul up the mechanism. So top it off right away. It's just common sense. Truck went through a couple of hands since I got out of the truck for a while and get back into it. So I guess someone decided they needed a clean windshield and dump some water coffee into it. That's my best explanation. Anyway, I'm rambling on again. definitely wouldn't be doing road work this early in the morning, especially in this weather, right? It's going to do some filling some potholes here this morning. Yeah. Video limit for 30 minutes. I'll probably just videoing this again for another, so I'll probably delete it because it'll be too long. Nobody wants to watch somebody drive down the highway for like hours, because I know I don't. To be honest, I used to watch a lot of trucking content online. And then since I started trucking full time all the time, like I always trucked full time when I started trucking, but I just didn't want to sit and watch somebody else doing what I was doing, if that makes sense. I still watch some of the truckers that I'm subscribed to from time to time, but I don't go out of my way to do it much anymore. They were offering the medium, but who like that was there taken care of, I hope. There's no lights on or four ways going. So hopefully no one ran out of gas and just froze. Whether to call that in or not, I probably should. SUV too. Kind of hard to see. Especially if your tail lights and your headlights get snowed over and they're not turned on. They can be more or less invisible in this weather. Wipers for this thing too. I find when it rains, it only clears like the top, and it's crazy. Basically, these wipers just block my line of vision, and everything else is clear. Like the bottom of the wiper clears, the top of the wiper clears, right in the center of the windshield on my side, there's nothing but a smear. It's like they were like, "Frig you, we're gonna make your life